Welcome back to Roundtable Talks. I'm David Taperas, broker of record at Union Capital Realty, and today we are welcoming Valentina.
Hi guys.
Thanks for joining us today, Valentina.
Yeah.
Valentina, you when you came to Union Capital Realty, you left PwC, lucrative position, lucrative job, a lot of schooling to get there, but you decided to take a leap of faith and leave that industry to come into real estate. Tell me a little about that.
Yeah, so definitely a long time coming. I went to business school, I went to Queens, and I always thought what I really want is to operate my own business, work for myself, but I didn't know what industry. And everybody kind of said, you know, go accounting, get your CPA, do the traditional thing, and you'll end up with a good salary or whatever it is. And when I was there, I really did not like what I was doing. And while there were interesting portions to it, definitely, and I learned a lot, I would say I was almost dreading waking up every day to work. And between a combination of, you know, a lot of family and friends who were either in the construction, real estate development, or just, you know, general labor carpentry kind of industry, I thought there's definitely a space for me here. Like, this stuff is definitely interesting. And at that time, there was so much information coming out about, you know, house hack your way into financial freedom. And I already had the financial background to understand investments. And I thought, I want to invest for myself. And that kind of led me into, I want to help people realize the power of what they can do with real estate for their life.
Listen, I think any experience is good experience.
Yeah.
And what I've seen with you in the short period of time of you being in the industry, that you not only are very good at analyzing properties, because we've sat down and done it a few times, but you yourself, and I think this is very important, are an investor. So you're not just telling people to invest, you've invested yourself since you've been here in real estate. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that helps a lot when you are helping people get into their first investment property or whatever the case may be. When you're doing it yourself, I think that speaks volume and gives you more credit when you're talking to your clients. Yeah,
so I would say, you know, no matter what, if it's your first investment or your 50th, I think every single time you have that moment of, is this the right decision? Like, it's not a little amount of money.
Right.
So you have that moment, and I think that relatability, the ability to kind of calmly and logically go through things with your client and show them, you know, what the future is, because you know I kind of focus on pre-con. So pre-con is
I was going to get to that.
A future play, right? And I think when people really see the potential of it and they see it from the perspective of, you know, a first timer, because we aren't industry investors. That's so different. We're talking people, person to person. I think that's where, you know, they feel so much more trust. And I'm definitely the kind of person, like, I send updates. I'm like, this is the value if you were going to sell your unit right now. So I think that's where the confidence is. And that's the information I would want to know and the information I keep tabs on, right? Like, whether it's Toronto or Calgary, the market is evolving, it's changing. So you kind of have to handhold everybody through that, because nobody wants to purchase and then be dropped. Like, where'd your real estate agent go?
Right.
Never hear from them again.
And unfortunately, that's big in our industry. Yeah. You know, most agents build a business off of a referral, and if you approach your clients in that manner, where you're just selling them and moving on to the next with no follow-up or no touching base throughout the year, you pretty much lost that client. Saying that, what drew you to the pre-construction side? Yeah,
okay, so first of all, I think when you're talking about buying real estate, wanting to invest, wanting to build wealth, and you're a first timer or you just don't have the access to the capital, like the 20% down, you have to figure out your options. And pre-construction is that opportunity to kind of stagger however much money you have to kind of exponentially grow your return, right? So that's a huge plus. The fact that you don't have a mortgage, you don't have tenants, you don't have the headache of traditional real estate. It's a whole other avenue, and I think that people want to get into real estate and they want it to be pretty, they want it to be like sexy, luxury, whatever, and they don't realize that it's not, and pre-con is. And I don't want to say anything risky, but it's so safe. Like if we're talking about the perks that builders are offering right now, a 2-year rental guarantee that cash flows on the amount that you've already guaranteed your sale price on, like regardless of what happens to the industry over 5 years,
Probably
7 years.
At a delay, it's probably 7 years.
Yeah, plus your 2 years rental. Like you're talking about, you could get married, have kids, get divorced.
Yeah, all of it 1 year.
Before you even have to get a mortgage.
I like the eyebrow going up on the divorce part.
So before you even have to get a mortgage. So it's kind of like, are you kidding me? Your money is growing in the back way more than stocks are going to grow. And by the time you get there, like,
and you can be in that market for 5 to 7 years, and you can experience the ups and downs.
Yeah.
And it won't affect. It may affect your investment a little bit, but you're still going to come out with a gain.
Yeah, and I think it makes you a stronger investor, right? Because you pull back on, I want to sell right now, because you don't have a tangible asset.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, I'll wait and see what happens, and I think it kind of helps you grow. Like I definitely right now, like pre-con, I mean, it's not that my units are down, but it's like nobody wants to see a correction on a previous high.
For sure.
You know, you got to weather the storm, and I think that's. Yeah.
No, and I think the one thing that you mentioned is that, and I think it's a very important, is that a lot of people just aren't good with numbers, and when you see the numbers and you see the returns that you are going to get, even doing them conservatively, it's a good return on investment. Yeah. It really is.
It's insane.
And I think that's where someone like yourself that has that background to crunch those numbers is a huge plus for your clients.
Yeah, like I literally talk to people and they don't believe me. They don't believe me. So recently I sent out an update for my Calgary buyers, last year's units. And then I shared on Instagram, my buyers did 90 to 106% on their units based on their deposit. People were like, you're lying. Like where is these numbers? Like what's going on? I mean, it's a great way as well to gain traction and, give me your email. I'll send you my unit and show you my breakdown. But it really is that big, right? And where else are you gonna do that big of a return?
For sure. And now you mentioned Calgary a few times. That is a focus of yours.
Yeah.
Why Calgary?
Okay, I'm a big fan. Real estate agents here, they're talking about, we have Amazon, we have Google, we have Microsoft, so does Calgary. And that's what's bringing jobs. And the level of affordability right now is nothing like Toronto, right? Like you can actually still afford to live there. So people are really flocking to it. And now pre-con projects, they're coming out and they're gone in 48 hours, which tells you the investors are still out there.
Now the investors, do you find that it's a lot of Torontonians or people in the GTA buying out there?
Yes, right now I would say that all of my interest is coming from Torontonians and actually quite a bit from people who are not even first-time homeowners. So they don't own anything else and they're buying Calgary. And then as well, people who own many things and they just want to, pick up 3 units, which is kind of crazy. But that's what's happening, right? Because I think that they see the value in how much migration in terms of population is going out there, jobs, the tech industry, the migration away from oil and gas.
All of the stuff that will have prices increasing.
Yeah.
Well, Val, I know that, again, it's been a short period of time, but it's been very productive. And I know that this is just the beginning for you and you're just going to keep on going up. So I hope so. I don't think it's hope so. I know so.
Yeah.
So I do appreciate you joining me today.
Yeah.
I want to thank everybody for joining us today at Roundtable Talks. Until next time, have a good one.